When someone mentions soft life, most of the time we equate it to money and luxury, which that is part, but truly soft life begins with self-love first, working through trauma and exploring the real joy of life. It's a life free of stress and full of purpose. My name is Miracle. I'm a business owner and educator. My guest and I would like to let you in on some soft life secrets. Okay, soft life secrets. This was interesting. When I asked both of you all to come on the show, I was floored that Cedric was like, what does soft life mean? Cedric, tell us what soft life means to you.
Well, I kind of gathered that it has something to do with people who want a little bit more relaxed lifestyle, not having to chase money all the time at work. Someone who wants to go by their day nonchalant without a specific agenda, just going through life willy-nilly and having someone somewhat take care of them. That's my best synopsis, but I guess it's something that we all can take our own opinion of.
Okay, Keshia, what do you?
I kind of agree with Cedric. I think it really is it's basically women who want to be taken care of, don't want to be stressed, don't want to be pressed, want to be able to kind of do what they want, how they want, when they want. But the thing is that I get from a lot of women when I hear soft life is that they talk about all the things they want to receive.
Yes.
But the things that they want to give don't really match a lot of times.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay, so both of you are right. Soft life to me, what most of our viewers are saying is it doesn't mean that you just want to be taken care of. It means you just want a life of peace, simplicity, not that you can't be a boss and have a soft life, but they just want a life of ease, just happy, no stress. So what I find is a lot of women that's asking for this are not, like Keshia said, giving the same energy back. So what would you say to those people, Keshia, as far as that? Like, they're
not gonna like me. The women gonna be like, oh, she's a pick me. She's a pick me. That's what they say. No, I mean, I definitely think that, you know, like I said, I see these laundry list of things that women ask for, but they just come back and say, but I'm a good woman, you know, I do, you know, and it's like, okay, that's an expectation when you have this laundry list of things. But what was the guy's name that everybody, this kind of came with the high value, what was his name he passed? Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels.
So I think he was the one who kind of got this whole high value, and then the women kind of came back with the soft life type of thing. But I just think that women are oftentimes not offering what they're asking for. Like they're not meeting what they're asking for. So it's like a person who wants a guy who's super in shape, but they're not.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I think people sometimes are delusional about that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. What's your take, Cedric? You know who Kevin Samuels was.
Kevin, yeah, he was very outspoken, very highly opinionated. It's funny though, a lot of people hated or so-called hated his content or what he spoke on, but they also followed him.
Exactly.
So is this something that you're thriving on, you like it, and you really just throwing shade because that's what everybody else is doing? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't watch a lot of it, but some of the stuff that I listened to, it was strongly opinionated, but he was right on
He was right. He was right.
He was right.
Yes.
He was right.
A lot of times he was right. As much as I hate to say it.
It was his delivery a lot of times.
It was the delivery.
Exactly.
It was his delivery, and he could be rude. He could be very rude. But I think sometimes it was because he was trying to shake people back into reality. Right. Like when he would ask, I felt like, okay, you asking a woman how much she weighs, how much, but he was asking because it's like, but this is the list you've given me of what you want, and I want you to get a reality check that you're not
even that. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Like, she's asking for a 10, but she's only a 6.
And I also think when women think about soft life and miracle, I don't think they're thinking peace. They want material
you just
things.
Took the words out of my mouth.
I think the majority of women are not saying, I just want a peaceful life. No, they want to be taken care of.
Okay,
but it's all relative. Media. It's all relative.
Social media, the stereotypes, and
as far as the society expectation, I've noticed on social media, it's about being taken care of. But when I talk to our age group, the mature women, you know, the boss chicks, they want peace. They want a life of simplicity. Let me just back up. Myself, I consider myself as a well put together individual.
Yes.
When I get home, I just want peace. That's it.
Right.
I don't want to argue. I don't want to bicker back and forth about nonsense. I just want a simple life. It's simple. What I'm finding is that it's hard in Atlanta, and based on our friends and what we hear here in Atlanta, it's hard to find those men. A man's man. You see what I'm saying?
I think it's an environment, though. I think it's a lot to do with this city. And I don't hate the city. A lot of people, most of the people that know me know I moved from, I was in the military, so I really came here from overseas.
Man's
I grew
man.
up in Houston, Texas.
Got it.
Born in small town, real country, Alabama. You can barely find it on Google Maps. A lot of my core values were founded there. But
You said
as
something.
my friends see, I don't
value.
walk around with anything flashy, hot dollar on. When I walk in the bank, sometimes I have on work clothes, Dickies, a pullover, Alabama hoodie or something like that. And I'm really simple. So nobody would look at me and think, oh, he has this or that, because I'm not flashy. And when I lived in Atlanta the whole time, I still carried myself that way.
Right.
I might drive a nice car. That's something that most people like. But Atlanta, to me, is the most materialistic city that I've ever lived in. And I felt like I was going to the point where I would go to parties and stuff with such friends that I had to dress a certain way. I had to carry myself a certain way, like they do in Atlanta. Have something flashy on, chains around my neck. No, I'm too old for that. I'll do it without the drama, you know.
Okay, that's that. And I saw you, Keshia. We're natives of Atlanta,
Right.
So we see totally different
Right.
than what people who've migrated here see.
Exactly.
But I do understand what you're saying, because everybody that has migrated to the city are putting on for the city.
Yeah.
So as a native, we can spot that. We identify all of that phoniness and
absolutely.
fakeness quick. So it doesn't impress us because we're from here.
Exactly.
And we came from a soft life living. So that doesn't impress us. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, Cal did. I didn't come from a soft life living. She did. She had that kind of, nuclear family all intact.
I came from a man's man household.
Right.
And so
And that I did.
yes.
Is that like what they call the silver spoon? You grew up with silver
Not
spoon,
necessarily.
everything laid out for you on a platter.
My father was just he was a man's man. He didn't make more than my mom, or it was never that. But I didn't know that until I got older, because she
would always
respected
lead with
him.
Absolutely. He was the
As
head.
the man, he was the head of the household. And so where I'm finding, and people coming to me asking, where are the men in this city? Because you have a lot of men now that don't mind letting women take care of them.
Oh, Lord.
Where did they start this? Where did this start? Like, you talked about core values. So where did it become okay for a woman to take care of a man, and they are okay with that? Real men have an issue with that, even if they have to go get 2 jobs.
But even that part that really gets me is that it still be guys. It's guys that'll say they're alpha men and they still want to run things, but they're not contributing as. Yeah. I mean, some of them are not contributing anything.
I think they have like a sensitivity level. They're a little insecure. There are a lot of insecure guys in the world, and you see them and dating regular boss ladies. There's lots and lots of women here in Atlanta who have themselves well put together.
Yeah.
And there's guys who don't have a place where they could take that date for the night or this, that, and the other. Some of them living with mom or with family, or they have a roommate, or guys don't have the education. I'm only military. I'm not college educated past like an associate's, But you have to have the know-how to get things done. If they don't have that education level and they're just working a warehouse job or whatever, you're not making those ends meet. So you're going to feel insecure about approaching a woman who's a boss that's got themselves together. The guys that are secure enough to do that are willing to take that secondary role.
But the thing is the women,
docile.
they are dating and being with these guys. The guys that are not prepared to offer as much financially, they are women because of the numbers. And then especially when you hit a certain age and the world is telling you that if you've never been married as a Black female after 40 and you've never been married, never had, it's like, I don't know what the actual numbers are, but they're small. I mean, I've looked before. And then, women want somebody that's 6 feet. Or they want somebody I'm joking. No, but it's like you have women with all of these things that they want. But the reality is that as you get older, I'm 52. So I know as you get older, the thing is because men, a lot of times the pool gets smaller. And a lot of times when men get older, they want women younger so they can mold them. Now, I will say the younger men, they don't have no problems.
Preach, sister.
Coming for a sister like myself.
The younger men go for older women.
They do. And the older men want younger women.
But they got to realize everything stopped. The things, our motor batteries stop working at a certain time. So, you see what I'm saying?
motor battery. I'm about a year from 50 now. I know some.
No, I know.
Don't tell on myself, but I know some 55s and close to 60s. Everything working good.
Okay. Great.
And I'm one that is like to date around my age range. I don't care for anything too young,
20,
but
25,
I
30.
won't put it off. I don't want to. People say they want love and want to find somebody that's a match and everything that we're talking about in the sense of the conversation, but you shut yourself off by saying that you only want what you're saying. This 6 foot, this tall, this abs, this, that, and the other. So a person who works at Fletcher serving drinks can't be your, match because they don't make as much as you do maybe? Or what is it your income level absolutely have to do with who you
being
date?
A match.
You can't date anybody that work at McDonald's because, they ain't got the money. Their heart may be just as pure as anybody else.
Right.
And they may be just as well off. They're just happy with where they are because they got money or something set aside.
And you're right. You are absolutely right about that.
They're just using McDonald's to go to school.
I've heard people that say it was something on social media where the lady said,
"No, we ain't talking about."
But see, that's what I'm saying. We're talking about people in our age range.
It was our age group.
Working at McDonald's.
It was our age group.
People in 40 still go to college, right?
Yeah, but you made it sound like they could have money tucked away. I don't know anybody going to work at McDonald's to have money tucked away. I'm sorry.
Well, you got.
What if they own it? What if they have several?
Yeah, if they own it, that's different. But that sounds like a plot for a Medea movie.
But how would
Tyler Perry movie?
How would you know if they own it?
I don't know.
How would you know?
You wouldn't know. I get what he's saying. I'm not saying I would shut somebody off. I'm saying that I just think that sounds like a great plot for a Tyler Perry movie. Because, in his movies, he always has it where the blue collar man ends up winning the woman that's being totally disrespected by the rich husband or whatever.
That's
you said that's a good plot.
People believe that happens every day in real life. And it does because guys who are well off and have that money that go out at the bar in the evening and sit there, they meet a lot of these women who are somewhat insecure and okay with you having that wife at home already. So why do they always end up being the ones
that's where the side chick came in.
Yeah, that's where the side chick in. And people need to learn the side chick ain't gonna never be a main. You can't never graduate.
I think that they can. I know situations where they have, because sometimes the first marriage is good for that season. And think about when if I had gotten married at 20, I am not that woman at 40, 50. Even now, since I've been with her for 15 years, who I was even when Daryl was alive and I was married to him, I am not that person anymore. There are parts of me to say that, but that shifted and changed my whole perspective about life and what's important and all of that. So that's why I can understand what Cedric is saying. I may meet a man that I would date now that I wouldn't have dated
in your 20s.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because what life means to me is different when you've had losses like I've had.
So you feel like you were grown apart from those people now because you are different who you were?
I think that people do grow apart. I think that it can happen. Yeah, I do think it happens.
I think it's a sign of the times that we live in, to be honest with. Because you were talking about the strong family that you grew up in. A lot of things, what they had back then was trust, real strong trust. How you say your mom and dad had, because how many couples nowadays that are actually married have joint bank accounts? How many of them have joint bank accounts and then have a side bank account? But you said your dad made less than your mom, but I guarantee you both of them knew how much money they had. So it's a different society.
It's a time. It's definitely a sign of the time.
When you saw those relationships that marriages that we hardly ever hear about, that they've been together 50 and 40 years, our generation is like divorce happy.
I think too, a lot of times women stayed married back in those days too, because they had to stay married. It was a lot of times it was financial, a lot of times. And so not only did women have trust, they had an understanding. They came into marriage like, I know he's going to do these things. I know, and I'm not going to let that break up my family.
So they led a soft life.
To a degree.
They did.
That was their definition of a soft life, because they made a decision that I'm not breaking up my family. I'm not, leaving because he's done this, this, and this. But I do like the fact that we are more in a position that if it is that way, like there were women who stayed through abuse. My mother stayed through abuse, and it ultimately cost her life. Like I wish my mother would have left. You get what I'm saying? And she definitely didn't stay for financial, because she made far more than my dad. Right. But she just came from a broken family, so she didn't want her children to have a broken family. You get what I mean? So sometimes it's so many things that can come into play with that, But I do agree with you. I think today, like you mentioned initially that you can't have core values. A lot of people don't have core values.
That's it. That's what the men are missing. They don't have the core value. Now, were you raised? Let me ask you a question. Were you raised by a single female?
I was raised in a single parent household sounds crazy, but on both sides. So I grew up with my mom and my grandmother until I was 10 years old. So I have 4 sisters that was at the house with me. My mom said I was acting a little too sissy, so she sent me to live with my dad. Okay. So from the age of 10 until I joined the Air Force at the age of 18, I was reared by my dad. So I got to experience both sides. And my dad was married, so there was a woman in the house, which is my stepmom.
So that's important, because one thing that out of all the men that I've interviewed, the one thing that all of them had underlining was a man, a father in their life, whether he was in the household or not. Right. It was a father.
Do you know something he just said? His mama made the decision to send him to live with his father. Same thing I did with DJ. He couldn't live with his father.
Exactly.
Past, but I sent him to live with my brother.
Exactly.
Because he needed some man stuff.
But
most women are too proud and too angry.
I'm not letting him go.
So they are not going to send their child to live with the father until they can no longer handle them.
Exactly. And then it's too late, because you've already created this monster to where the black woman has created this man to depend on a woman. And so instead of them looking for a partner, they're looking for another mother.
Or a sister or auntie.
Or a sister or aunt or whoever. And so those are the ones that are in our generation.
Agreed.
Because we were told to go get careers. Like you said, it was based on, back then they had soft lives, our parents, because that's how it was. But then as time evolved, we got careers. And society said, we were educated ones. We were career driven. But no, that's how they designed it. They decided to give us the job instead of giving it to a black man, so that we would in turn look down on the black man. Yeah. So now,
in which generation did that dynamic shift though?
The 70s, because in order for them to receive, and with the moment they said a man cannot live in the house for a woman to receive welfare. If you listen to Dr. Kunjufu, he talks about it and breaks it down. Jawanza Kunjufu, it really talks about that was the beginning of the end for the black family. And we became, and I know people hate when I say this, but this baby mama, baby daddy thing that we are so
proud of.
And I just don't come from that era.
Right.
I just could not be a multiple baby giver to the world without having a husband.
I said baby giver.
You got plenty of kids?
Yes, I love them all, and I'm in all their lives.
How many you have?
You had to ask the number, didn't you?
I did. I want to know.
I have 6 beautiful kids.
And I mean,
I felt like my mama got 6, my daddy got 6.
Why didn't you get married to any of their mothers, though?
I was married to the first 3 moms. I was married for 13 long years.
Okay,
but I was that guy that you were talking about that got married at 20 years old.
Oh.
In the Air Force.
Okay, so you have 3 kids. You were married to the first 3 mothers.
No.
So you have 6 kids. See, this is the shit I... Then we expect these kids to come. I'm sorry, you're right.
But no, this is good. This is good.
Because this is what we do, and we bring kids, no offense, really. I mean, I don't mean
it's
it
okay.
to be.
I won't be offended.
But you did get married. But we have those situations too, Cedric, where people have never gotten married. Like, I don't think it's normal for a child to come into the world and never spend one night with both parents.
Right. Yeah.
We are conditioning kids to make sense out of something that to me just doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've made that a thing. Like, you bring a child into the world, two people, and sometimes they already broke up before the baby get here.
Right. Mm-hmm. Or they weren't together when the baby was conceived.
Right. Just like, well, wait a minute. They had to be together at some point for the baby to be conceived.
They weren't together.
I mean, they were together physically.
Out of 6 kids, how many am I on court-ordered child support for?
I mean, I don't know your business.
Ever been.
Oh.
1.
Okay. Because you take care of your kids.
I requested that. So I take care of them. The reason why I say that, it's funny, because when after the divorce, I did have custody of my 2 kids. And when they came to live with me, I never got 1 red cent. Mm-hmm. Is that considered equal or fair to me? Because
no, it's not. They should have had to pay child support.
I made more income and all that. I never went to court.
I think whoever.
I don't think I should ever had to ask for it.
Right.
I agree.
But if she if she was living a soft life when she was with me and we were no longer together, and I sent that support while they were there with her, and then you sent those kids, and I don't want to have another tearjerker because I'm really sore about this subject. I'm gonna let it go in a minute.
Okay, that's fine.
But when I decided to come back from overseas and took custody of those kids, you didn't find a moment to try and say, hey, you need anything, send anything. But the show isn't about that. It's about soft life secrets. So I don't want to get all into my personal business.
But men desire soft life too. So it is about that.
It's a part of those core values I was talking about. Mm-hmm. You don't, as a grown man, you don't need nobody to tell you what you got to do or what's right to do. You know what I'm saying? Nobody get it.
Nuh-uh. Let's get it.
I don't want to get emotional. So
it's okay.
I'm gonna let it go.
It's okay.
Yo, I understand because I do feel like the system is rigged and not fair to men. I really do. And I've had clients that have had to fight for their children. And believe it or not, a lot of men are winning custody. It's not what it used to be anymore.
Men are winning now.
It used to be a time where the courts automatically said it's the woman, the children go with the woman, the man get 4 days a month every other weekend, right? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And it's not that way anymore. And unfortunately, I've had to testify at a couple of those situations. Woo, but
you be?
I'm a realtor, but I become sometimes friends with my clients. And, so sometimes there is not a guarantee that the woman is always the best parent.
Right.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So, but I digress. Yeah. Soft life. Yeah,
and by you being a single father raising your kids, that speaks volume within itself. Mm-hmm. And basically, like that's real big. Mm-hmm. That's real big. But that shows character too. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
And they graduated and you're independent,
right,
on their own now.
But again,
he's 22 and I put him out last year and moved to Florida. That's the reason why I sold my house and moved to Florida, because my son wasn't gonna get out if he had no motivation to have his own. He worked. He got in his own little trouble and stuff. At 22 years old, I had his own son also, just like I did at the age of 17. I felt like it was your responsibility at some point in time to grow up, get your own place. See? And if I don't give you that push, you're not going to do it. That boy has a house in Covington.
See, that's because you were a foundation.
Absolutely.
You passed on what your father passed on to you. So it takes a real man to teach another man.
Mm-hmm. I agree with
how to be a man. And a woman can't do that. So you have all these single women, like you said, that are bitter, mm-hmm. that refuse to let their kids be with the father, even though that's the best place probably.
Drama.
And they're creating this monster for our kids.
Women. Yeah.
And for our kids. Mm-hmm. I mean, where are the real men? I mean, real men stand up.
I have my son saying to me sometimes when I ask about, what about this young lady or this person, or, and he'll say, Mom, he said, it's a lot. It's hard. My son's 22 as well. Mm-hmm. He said, it's hard to date. He said, these women have expectations. They want us to, buy them Louboutins and Fendi and this and that. And he's like, I'm a college student. You know what I mean? And I really like the girlfriend he's with now, but it bothered me to see him stressed out about how to do it. I said, DJ, you're a college student. Why is she asking for that? You can't afford that. So that means she's asking me. Right. And I can't afford it for her either.
Oh, you got it.
Wait, so this is what they're asking for?
Yes, these girls. One of my nephews was drafted last year and to the Tampa Bay Rays. Shout out to Chandler Simpson. Yeah, Chan. And so he had a young lady that sent him her cart for what and they weren't even in a relationship. for what she wanted. And immediately he blocked her. You know what I mean? Thank God he knows his worth. But it made me wonder because a lot of them are starting, can I say a lot of them dating white girls? Mm-hmm. A lot of them are dating other. And I'm asking, what is that? And they're like, and he said it because he said, well, Auntie, you know, it's they don't
ask for stuff
like
that.
He said they don't ask. And so a lot of our young ladies are being taught by their mamas.
I haven't dated a white girl in a long time. A white woman, I would say now. I probably would to date her, to be honest with you.
Why?
Actually, I've never been biased anyway. So I've
Date
never.
whoever you like. Doesn't matter the race.
You like who like you.
I don't want to sound stereotypical, and I don't want anybody that hears or views your podcast to just hate me straight up. But I'm not a big fan of these long eyelashes that touch up here.
Okay.
Long hair that ain't yours. I love a natural. I love a woman with that little short stuff that you can just wet and it'll curl up.
Okay.
Something like that you can just feel the back of that neck when you. Never mind.
Okay.
I'm getting a little too deep. But there's nothing about a black woman that I despise and just outright hate. But a little bit of the superficial stuff has gone overboard with me. And believe it or not, it didn't all come from black women. No white ladies been wearing them lashes like that.
And they wear weave and lashes and they get their body done.
Wear
They
everything.
get their lips done to look like ours. Right. But the thing about it is you see a lot of black men, and we kind of gotten off track. I'm going to try to bring it back.
No BBL.
But a lot of black men, the first thing they do when they get $1 is to go get the other. And so I think a lot of black women have somewhat felt the pressure to look like that in order to try to, you know what I mean? So it's the
internet. You got to think about it. We didn't grow up with this.
No,
with that. So you
seen.
think about our generation. It's probably where you still got the natural, the closest to the natural black woman you're gonna find. After us, everything is artificial. I mean, that was a point of their lifestyle. I mean,
so good as shit.
I mean, hey, that's how they grew up. That's that generation. But how do we bring it back? Like,
you can't reverse it.
I don't think no. I mean, we have people out here now, artists like Sexy Red, that these little girls are dancing and twerking. Little girls. I'm talking 5 and 6 year olds twerking, and people in the comments, when you see this stuff, it's like, oh, don't act like y'all want singing to Aaliyah Rock the Boat and you knew what it meant. I didn't even know what she was saying at first, and I was good and grown. I wasn't even thinking about it. I just like the vibe of the rhythm of the song. Right. But when you have little girls, I saw a video that went viral last week with little 5-year-olds that were on a pole, learning how to. And I don't know what they would use that for in the future. I mean, it is good for keeping you in shape when you become an adult, but I mean, to see kids on a pole, I'm like, we're in a generation of anything goes. So I don't think you can reverse it.
And they can see anything. We didn't have access to.
It's on your phone.
Ours was innocent. Ours was innocent because I remember my favorite song was Atlantic Star Baby, Secret Lovers.
Yes,
and I didn't know what that meant. Okay,
yeah,
singing it, my heart out. But then as I got older and I listened, I was like, they was having an affair.
Yeah, Betty Wright too, ain't it?
Okay, Betty Wright, yep, absolutely.
But it was innocent. I can honestly say it was innocent. Now, like you said, everything goes.
Well, you know, when we get back to the soft life, you know, I think that it's become very common that, and a lot of people say, you know, well, marriage is just a piece of paper. We've kind of gotten away from that, you know, so now marriage is just a piece of paper. There are people who have been hurt so much in a marriage, they would never do it again. Some men feel like they were taken advantage of so much financially after a divorce, they would never do it again. You know, and there's some women that get to a certain age and I'm like, somebody just asked me that yesterday. Would you get married again? My client and I, we waited an hour for that closing attorney. Never would I use them again, but I digress. And asked, would I get married again? And I said, I'm not so sure. I don't know. But if it did, it is a business, you know, so it would have to be a prenup. There are things at 52 that I have accomplished that I didn't have at 25. And, you know, I have a son. Like, you have kids. We have kids to look out for, you know. So, I'm
pretty solid on no. I'm pretty solid
not
on
getting married again.
Yeah, I just, like you're saying, you have different things than we had back then. But even at this age, I don't see what is it other than the piece of paper and the bond that you can't have without that piece of paper?
We're gonna have to do a part 2.
This gonna have to be a part 2, baby. You are absolutely right. But and that's where I want to get with you to talk about. So, do you feel with everything that's going on now and how all these women want a soft life, that you would ever get married again? Would you ever get married again?
I'm not 100% against getting married again. Let me stand corrected on that. Do I feel like I should or need to or would ever want to? I feel like with the right person, yes, but I think marriage today is just like everything else we're talking about in the conversation. It's so superficial. A lot of people want to do it for the pomp and circumstance, for the wedding. I don't care that it might cost you, what is it nowadays? Back then it was $25,000 maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, I mean.
Easy.
Not
for me. I wouldn't even do a wedding at this point. No, I don't need all that.
I'm good with going to the justice of the peace.
Right, and having a reception.
That's if that's something that you're truly in love, someone you're truly in love with, you're bonded to. That bond and that piece of paper is for that. It's not for the ceremony. Now, if I do the ceremony, I want it to be on the beach. It's beautiful blue water behind me. I love that water. I like to travel. Yeah. Now, if I do it, and I don't want to be dressed up either. I want that linen on. You know what I'm saying?
Well, on the beach, you definitely got to have that on.
Talk it out.
Oh, yeah.
Talk it out.
Yeah. But I'm not against it. I'm not walking this earth right now looking for it. Because Mr. Willie and Grandma Bell back in the country in Alabama, Mississippi, they was together. Some of them 55 years ain't never been married.
And Mr. Willie had kids all over the place. Like I said, part 2 will come for that.
Being married would have stopped.
No, I am enjoying this conversation, y'all. I'm going to definitely have to bring you all back. But before we go, Keshia, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram, I.list_luxury. I am a realtor here, 23 years in Atlanta, and that's the only place I would prefer y'all follow me. Facebook is for my family.
LeSedric Curtis.
LeSedric Curtis. You can follow me on Facebook, LeSedric, I am him, Curtis. On Instagram, I don't want to sound boastful, but the Money Team CEO. I am a CEO of a trucking logistics company and a real estate investment that I've been doing now in Florida, and I'm loving it.
Congratulations.
Proud of you, Miracle.
No
Thank
inboxes.
Thank you. So that wraps up this session of our Soft Life Secrets. Tune in next time for our next episode.